Hi everyone, it's Veroosh. Welcome to my channel and welcome to our reading for the full moon in Capricorn, which happened yesterday morning. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm excited to be here with you, and sorry I couldn't be here yesterday. We had a COVID scare, so everybody's fine, but there was a kind of a day in which we were worried somebody had COVID and somebody who was like at high risk. So everything is fine. There was like another little thing going on and it just became too much for one day. So I hope you guys don't mind. And I hope you are enjoying this energy with this full moon in Capricorn. Now the moon is already in Aquarius, so I thought we can talk about it a little bit. One of the problems with this full moon in terms of wanting to talk about it is that in order to talk about it holistically, which I like to do on my channel, you have to put a lot of secondary considerations in, and it's a very kind of broad set of points. And not all those things we've talked about in depth. And so things such as the nodes and Pluto and all of these things need their proper consideration, but we can't do that in a video like this. So for the full moon, it is very hard to articulate the energy. However, a good way to think about it is that this is an energy that has to do a lot with the past. It's very referential to the past. Something that you can envision when thinking about this energy is closing the door and walking through it. So walking through the door and closing it behind you. There's definitely energies of change here. There's energies of confusion of feelings. So there could have been significant feelings that have been confused. But there's also potentials of breakthrough. And on Twitter today, I kind of gave some keywords and ideas about that. I kind of like this concept of giving like subtle suggestions or giving you guys some kind of a visionary representation. And so I had the vision of a turtle, and I know the full moon happened in a earth sign, but the sun and Mercury are together in Cancer. And so there's the vision of the turtle diving deep into the dark water and then coming up for air today, now that the moon is in Aquarius. So it was a very deep dive. So when people say deep dive, oftentimes they refer to very deep understanding of life events and so forth, or a deep explanation of a topic. But in this case, imagine deep diving like a turtle into the waters and seeing different things, seeing a different world underneath there, and then coming up. And as you come up, the light sort of shows up a little bit, and then it starts to dance around you. An eagle just flew by. Is that? No, that's a pigeon. Sorry. With a crow chasing it nonetheless. But yeah, so sorry, distracted. But the thing is that it is a deep dive, and now you're coming up again with the water, and it's quite beautiful. This full moon was a complicated energy, and it had a lot of competing nuance to it. In order to maybe appreciate its effects, we can kind of point to the weekend before, which was wild because we saw a huge amount of change. Now, I think I talked about this in our live sessions here on YouTube. I know I definitely made some short form content about it on YouTube and maybe on another app. But all I wanted to say was I was telling you guys about the Sun conjunction with Lilith and Mercury, right? And there's a lot of skeptics about Lilith. I don't want to get into details about her. I think somebody asked me about Lilith, so I'll be kind of doing a short form video on her soon. So if you're interested in knowing more, there'll be more about that soon. But certain transits or certain points, right? People sort of say, oh, you know, it's like they love and light her. In this case, in Lilith's case, it's a lot of misplaced feminism. And so there's like misattribution to Christianity and Judaism, and you know, it's somewhat problematic, and it has like a more deeper and older story that's not necessarily redemptive of female figures. Let's just say it that way. You guys usually know what I'm talking about, but just in case you don't, just look it up. And so basically there's a lot of politics about Lilith. Some people think one way about her, others think another. And although I can appreciate a good redemptive story or some feminist take on it, I do kind of think in astrological terms, there's some wild stuff going on with her. And so when we saw the moon and the sun pass Lilith, that's when we saw some major stuff go down. Specifically, Boris Johnson got ousted in the UK. So you guys have all heard about that. We also know that the president of Sri Lanka got basically pushed out. People were swimming in his pool. What's worse is that Sri Lanka has now defaulted on their loans, so they've gone bankrupt. And so that's very sad for the people there. And there's a massive shortage of food and basic necessities, so it's not good. But the truth came to the surface, and so they tossed him out. And unfortunately, there was an assassination in Japan, so we also know about that. That appears, I've heard someone refer, so maybe this isn't correct, but I think it is, that this had to do with a certain type of cult church. And so the person who performed the assassination was, I think, somehow involved with this cult. And then this was a retribution for their mother losing money. It was strange because somebody asked me about that on, I think, Twitter or maybe another platform. And I said, oh, it's maybe like a personal thing. It was in my comments. It was, and I said father. I didn't say mother, but apparently his mother had lost a bunch of money to this church, and he blamed this president, so this former prime minister. And there's been a lot of political upheaval, a lot of exposure of things, and a lot of truth coming out, as we had seen with Sun and Mercury over Lilith. And so therefore, you know, Lilith can be beautiful as a concept of feminine empowerment, but it's this kind of stuff that we see when light shines over it. We see the hypocrisy. One other thing that I haven't mentioned, and this is just some news I heard out of Germany, and it's alleged, so I'm not sure. But apparently there's been massive misconduct allegations on the Chancellor of Germany of hosting parties with females who were intoxicated and then SA'd. So again, toppling governments. Germany's also in a very difficult situation financially because of the war with Russia. And so there's a lot of upheaval, a lot of exposure of corrupt things. There's a lot of snaking around. And I do have to say that in some of these events, even though maybe some of the leaders were in some way problematic in their conduct, I'm not judging, I just don't know enough detail to judge or say publicly yet. But it does appear to me like some of the people who exposed them and the people who confronted them were snakes. So this Lilith with Mercury, you know, so on the one level we have the sun clarifying, and then Mercury passing with Lilith as well, and maybe new layers of deception. So it seems as though some of the people doing the exposing were pretty dark people, pretty dark themselves in character. And so yeah, that's the energy leading into the full moon. Thankfully, so far, nothing happened as far as I know in terms, I think there's a slide in Virginia, which I hope everybody's okay. But, you know, any particular day, you can find things happening around the world. But in terms of these big, massive upheavals or change, this full moon, it seems as though those events before the full moon were sort of it. So maybe you personally had yourself gone through something the weekend before leading up to this energy, and maybe with the full moon it sort of maybe not reconciled, but maybe there was some kind of cathartic moment alongside of it. So like I said in the intro, it's you're walking through a door and you're closing the door behind you. And so today, I don't know about you, but I did feel as though there was a certain set of things that were complete, and now time to move forward. I don't know if something's happened for you in the form of like a confrontation. There's definitely a do-over effect. When I say do-over, I'm referring to this. Really, this is I really love you guys when I show you this transit. You guys really resonate with this transit. It's called a mystic rectangle, and I like it a lot as well. And it's the mystic rectangle, if you need to know anything about it, and this is how I conceptualize it, it's a do-over. It's an edit effect. So essentially, it allows us to do certain things over and over again until we get them right. So that came up for me in my life, definitely today, or maybe yesterday to today. But there was this kind of opportunity to go back to something, try it over again a different time. And so this is off of the South Node, the Moon, the North Node, and Uranus, because they're forming their conjunction already, and Mars is coming in for the win. Yes, I'm excited. We'll talk about that next. And then we have the Sun and Mercury in this position. So it's a really beautiful energy. And so basically it's a 2 trines, so between the Taurus and Capricorn placements, earth energy, and water energy between water, Scorpio and Cancer. And then there's sextile, supporting sextile energy between the Capricorn and Scorpio, and then Cancer and Taurus. So very, very nice energy. I really like this, and especially alongside this full moon. And like I said, I don't know if I'm articulating it well, but I felt as though this energy dove in deep. And it's not necessarily like you understood something deep, or it's just some pesky detail or some like very like fundamental truth emerged for you, I hope, or there was some kind of just the general feeling of it all felt very like in your face and intense, and some like truth came out of it. So and once again, I got a chance to speak up for myself again on an issue that was bypassed before. And an issue came up again, and I said, see, if you avoid dealing with a certain issue, it'll come up again. So, you know, for me, that was redemptive in terms of my feelings about it. And so maybe you too had some kind of an event in which some things to do with past events. My past event leads back to last year. So it's not like something that goes back to my origin story, but it touches on bigger life events and bigger themes in my life that are huge and central to who I am. So it's the exact event that happened was to do with like my everyday life. And yet, the implication of this touched on like a bigger theme in my life. So maybe you had the same experience. In fact, that's when I see this North Node with Uranus, Sun with Mercury, South Node, and Moon. I really do feel as though you're getting a second bat at something. And I really felt myself going through those motions. For me, it wasn't like a huge thing, but it's something that's a part of my life. And I really like the Uranus North Node here in Taurus because I spoke up in a way that I hadn't before. And so it was very cathartic. So I hope you had a cathartic moment on something, revisited something. It was probably something to do with physical things, and then maybe emotional things as well. So that's a very nice energy. And, you know, let's do the lead into the next comment about all this, is that this full moon, which is in the 3rd decan of Capricorn. And Capricorn's a very powerful position for the moon. And this is one of the things that I want to explore in a separate video, but it is a very important position. It has to do with the winter solstice for the northern hemisphere, summer solstice for the southern hemisphere. But it's very important, and it's ruled traditionally by the sun, and in modern astrology it's ruled by Mercury. On Friday, Mercury and the sun are going to form a conjunction called a cazimi, and ever since they formed their last conjunction in Gemini a couple months ago when Mercury was retrograde, now they're getting their second go at it, and it's kind of exciting. And so now this is really activating something. It's putting something, you know, into play. And when considering those world events, now these world events, I talk about world events as sort of an example, but maybe in your life there was certain levels of exposure or certain level of coming to terms with the truth or finding the truth about a circumstance that relates to you or something else important. And so this conjunction between Mercury and the sun right now is actually activating all of these nuances. So it's activating the conjunction with Lilith. It's the fallout from the moon, the full moon that happened yesterday, which means that this conjunction between Mercury and the sun will happen on Friday, and the full moon, whatever happened during the full moon, and this is a bit of an intuitive take, it didn't seem as though something huge happened. Something huge happened in Canada. I'll tell you guys in a minute. But the implications, or maybe there will be another exposure on Friday, on the 16th, as Mercury forms the sun. And this one will be very much about moving forward, initiating forward the next phase. So this may be happening also in your life. And so that's what I was referring to with the public events. When I'm talking about public events, think about it in your own life. And so the conjunction between Mercury and the sun may begin a new path for you. When we do the tarot card reading today, I wouldn't be surprised if in some way the Fool comes up a lot with Uranus, especially with the North Node. I'm trying to compartmentalize all the different parts, but just to there's a lot going on, and it's pretty exciting, and it's a good energy. So you were presented with your problems before the full moon and into the full moon. You were told what they are, and now you get to deal with them. But the energy of dealing with it is actually very uplifting and positive. And so Uranus with the North Node, I love this transit. I know that it can have some bad effects. However, I think it gives us an opportunity to rethink our future, or rethink what we're doing, and push us along in a new way. And that's super supportive as Saturn squares the nodes until the fall. So this is the phase in which, in this Saturn cycle, that's another video of its own also, but this is the phase in which the Saturn cycle will be reconciled in a different way. And so you'll find your new solutions moving forward. So this full moon almost was like the closure of, a lot of different events. There was an energy that was referring to the past. That's a kite on the South Node. And then there's a second kite from the moon onto the sun and Mercury, pointing right back to Cancer here. So it's flying all over the place. There's there's geometry in this astrology up everywhere. There's just so much nuance to it. So if you know a little bit of astrology, look at this chart for a little bit and see what you can get out of it. But I think that that's the gist, a beginning, a new path, unveiling a new future. Some of the more emotional transits, so for those of you who are thinking about relationships and stuff, this full moon was actually a really strong trine to Neptune. So in terms of aspects on the sun or on the moon, there was a lot of conversation about Capricorn, and the moon did pass Pluto later on that night. So technically it was still a full moon, but it was off the exact opposition. However, Neptune was within a 4-degree orb of a trine to the sun. So there was this, again, a weaving of the truth and seeing a vision of like global circumstances. I feel like there's a resurgence of hope and visionary sort of energy of where to bring light into circumstances. The other major sort of transit we've been seeing is Chiron squaring first the sun, but before that, before the sun, but now Mercury. So there's been a lot of some of the things you've heard maybe you didn't like. Some of the things that you heard maybe weren't pretty. But I think that they're going to help you, and I think that they're going to help you focus. And then I really wanted to also highlight the trine between Venus and Saturn, which was exact that day. Again, I told you guys about it a while back, and I thought, and I did that special for members, when I pick 3 transits I really like. So there's a real energy here of seeing what's going on and seeing how there's an accountability to this Capricorn moon. Actually, that's probably the best way to kind of talk about it. And there's an energy towards addressing accountability or, facing whatever it is that you want to keep accountable. So yeah, definitely some positive energies. Not all of them were great because Venus was also squaring Neptune. So some of you may have felt very confused or overwhelmed by the information. But I think as the moon now enters Aquarius, and definitely this will increase as it reaches Saturn, we're going to have like a really nice energy of transcendent understanding. By about Saturday the 9th, or I guess it must be Saturday the 9th. I think that's, hold on. Saturday the 9th. I'm not switching the chart today, but like between Friday to Saturday when the moon enters a conjunction with Saturn, trining Venus, I think that any frustration that you're feeling towards information and all the information you've been presented with, I think that you will know how to deal with it. So it looks very hopeful. It's like a very pragmatic full moon and pragmatic energy that allows you to sort of figure out like what's going on and say goodbye to the past and say hello to your future beginnings. And so I wanted to do a full moon reading in that spirit. And so I'm going to use these cards just to keep us on track. And what I would like to do is actually, you guys like when I do the astrology, right? So we'll take a look for every single sign with the astrology. And this was just like a sorry about the sound. I think that my mic just turned off for a sec, but this was a taste test. This was like a vibe check just to get a feel for what's going on. So very harsh energy last weekend. But when all that exposure of the, of course, I sympathize with any sort of event in which someone passes away. So I'm not minimizing the gravity or the implication of that event. But overall, I felt as though even though I don't think it was all clean, which means that some of these events exposing these world leaders are not necessarily purely altruistic. There's darkness behind it as well. And so if we're not careful, bad energy is going to weaponize what's happening for its own advancement. And so that's what I feel very strongly about. So if these people get replaced, I'm really worried that some of the people lining up to replace them are pretty bad themselves, like snakes. And so yeah, that's very important for you to consider. But overall, I felt like the energy was good because I think that some of these people were really contributing to the suffering of millions of people. And there was they dug themselves into their position a bit. So there wasn't an easy way to get them out. So that's positive. And so maybe unfairly kept positions were removed. So overall, I thought that that was pretty great. And maybe you personally felt like there was a sense of vindication, a little bit of a sense of, you know, things working, that the people in power do have some level of accountability, something like that. And hopefully that motivated you towards this full moon. And so, one other thing. Oh yeah, I talked about the sextile to the South Node. So it was deeply reflective about the past. I do want to tell you guys something really quick about Canada. In Canada yesterday, our central bank hiked the interest rate by 1%. So really a huge hike. And so this is the first hike in decades of this size. And people are freaking out justifiably. And so that has huge implications. So there is a financial component to everything, but in order to discuss it all well, I think it's very important to dedicate something completely to it. So I'll talk about that separately. And the only thing that I'll tell you guys, if you're getting anxious or worried about money, that I think that a lot of changes are coming. They're not necessarily all coming from the top, which means from the government. I think government are being put under more pressure from, they don't have as much absolute authority as they did when there was a massive stellium in Capricorn in 2019 and 2020. So we're seeing the erosion of their ability to affect change, maybe through infighting or distractions, you know, the Dems versus the Republicans, and, you know, all the intra fighting between them and the pushing and shoving. They're eating their own, right? And so it's not all from the top. And I feel as though it's not going to be all easy. But I do feel like if we dig in our heels and if we personally commit to the right things with the right attitude in mind, this is a very constructive, very productive energy. So in other words, financially, this is just an astrological bit of my take astrologically. If you're dealing with financial issues of some sort, I think that at this time, and this is a summary for future readings, I think that at this time you will in some way have the opportunity to improve, but I don't think it's going to be like a rocket to the moon. I think, but that's unsustainable, as we're seeing in the housing markets and other things, the bubbles bursting. And so I think that you have a chance for some very good change here financially. And it's not going to be all rainbows and gumdrops, but if you apply yourself well, I would really recommend that with this energy, with this Capricorn full moon, you pursue those financial changes methodically, right? So anything that done methodically and honestly will really lead you to success. So I hope that helps you understand. And we'll go through that in detail. It touches upon like much broader, specific astrological topics, but I didn't want to leave you guys hanging because I know some of you guys are, you know, you really want to know things about where money is going. So yes, a lot of changes are happening and coming, and it's not going to be all easy, and be conservative financially at this time. Okay. That's what they say about Canadians. So if you always hear me say that kind of conservative, Canadians, when you poll Canadians across the board, we're progressive socially. That's what they say, at least. And we're conservative financially. So I don't know if that's so true. I know a lot of Canadians who spend a lot of money, but okay. So, good. We start with Taurus. So Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. So I'll just do, like, because of the daylight constraints, I'll go through each sign for you and give you guys a little bit of a take on the astrology of this full moon, and then we'll pick some cards. And so I have this beautiful deck. I don't know if you guys have seen my background, so I'll show it to you. It's like a little forest, and it's Technicolor. I actually took this photo. I really like it a lot. And so I have Creatures of the Forest Tarot. which is the tarot of the enchanted forest, magical forest. So we'll have some fun tonight, okay? So, so my intention for this reading, I have an intention in light of I think this is really good energy. And I'm not saying that bad things aren't happening, but I feel as though things I like, accountability, truth, and sort of setting the record straight or doing things in a proper way, I think that those things are happening. So yeah, high five to that. Okay, so Taurus, where would I say, I think that for you, a big focus for this full moon may really have to do with some big changes of opinion and thought, and especially in relation to relationships. Oh, sorry, my cursor wasn't there. Letting go of past relationships. Now, this relationship may be over and gone in the past. However, I think like the real key here with this energy at this time is for you to refocus from your thoughts of the past towards more present moment. Like, you know, when they say go out and touch grass, I kind of dislike that because it's patronizing, but I also like that saying in the sense like go see your neighborhood, like go walk around. There may be like some resources or some nice energy for you, if that makes sense. Okay, so Tauruses, let's see your cards. Maybe I need to zoom out a bit because this is, I think, too much. Although my wild strawberries will remain in the video. Sorry. Okay. I grew them from seeds, so I'm very proud of them. Okay. And every Polish girl knows wild strawberries is the jam. A jam from wild strawberries is the best. Okay. Okay. So we have the Three of Pentacles. So this is work energies. I just feel as though like there's a reshaping of attitude, and of course the seventh house may have to do with work. It just feels as though stepping away from grievances of the past and past employment situations is a huge part of this. This is leading you to new thoughts and ideas, new beginnings. I left the cursor in the third house, and I'm wondering if maybe somebody close to you is not a potential friend or new love connection. So that sounds really nice and really positive. I love this deck, by the way. I can't believe I haven't used it in so long. I just think it's so friendly and nice. So we have Mars in Gemini, the Nine of Swords. If you have Mars in Gemini, don't worry about this card being your card. It's just how the tarot associates. Six of Pentacles, Moon in Taurus. Nice energy. Oh yeah, that's why I'm referring. I read for somebody who had Moon in Taurus today. And then we have the World card. Yeah, I just think good things are coming for you, Taurus. Maybe a letting go of a relationship in the past that wasn't very giving. It could be a situation in which you put a lot in towards someone or towards a situation, and I feel like you feel isolated or lost, and I feel like something is some positive energy is being contributed to it, and I feel as though there's a lack of appreciation or recognition going on, and I think you feel very isolated, but the way forward is a much better solution. There's a transcendent energy. There is a working your way. There's better things ahead. Financially, there are better things ahead. I think you should really reconcile your past relationship or work type. It feels like a work or a past relationship really hurt you, took advantage, or you feel they took advantage, or kind of. And so the full moon for you is like a reframing, like you're rethinking it through. Okay. So the next energy is for Libra. So first we'll take a look at your astrology, Libra. And okay. And then this is sun, moon, and rising. And then we'll look at the full moon. So, and then we'll do the tarot. Sorry. So when I look at your chart here, I really feel as though some of you may have been vindicated by like a very shadowy person in your life, especially in your career. So this may have happened last weekend. There may have been vindication. and moving forward in a positive direction. The conjunction here is going to be very nice for your career moving forward. I see a lot of potential positive moves in terms of career. There could be very benefic people around you now to help you where you are going. And let's see what else is really happening in your chart. So with the full moon, I would say that for you, I think that maybe some progress in terms of work is facilitating for you positive change at home. So maybe home has been too busy or too cluttered up with various different energies. And now with this full moon, maybe there's been like an like if you've been saving a lot of money from work, or there's a chance like of improvements. Now the improvements I think are only beginning now. So with this full moon, it will be entering into a phase in which your house, your home life sort of improves. One thing to be aware of, there's a really huge change coming up for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising people. Really fundamental change. And I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't have to do with career. I'll talk about this more during the conjunction video or videos that are coming up. But I think that just a word to the wise, whatever you're urging yourself, whatever you feel the urge to change or, turn around or mess it up, be a bit cautious with this energy. Don't overdo it. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Like, be very selective in the change you embrace, because you can really overdo it at this time. You can really cause a lot of towers for yourself if you're overly obsessed with change. And this is going to make you want to change everything. So this is another little take for Libra. I would say be very careful with cutting or doing drastic things with your hair. Hair can take a very long time to grow back. You might have the urge to cut your bangs, that's the joke, or cut your hair in some way, or just do something drastic. This could be something that you get stuck with for a long time. So at this time, you might be feeling like, I need a change. Anything that's permanent, or like maybe new tattoos or stuff like that, be very careful with it. Some of them may be great ideas and some of them may be great outcomes, but if you overdo the energy, then it could feel a little whack. Okay, so we have Hanged Man. That's that Neptune energy. And low-key Neptune was a huge part of this whole full moon kind of, environment. And so trine between Neptune and the Sun. And so I just feel as though career things coming to the surface. There's still a lot of lies and deception around work, and I think that maybe a lot of important things have been clarified, but I think there's more, and I think you know about that, okay? 6 of Swords, the desire to move on from those types of situations. I just feel as though, when a situation gets a hold of you and gets its claws into you and you can't get rid of it, I think you're really deciding to move on from a set of circumstances. So if there's someone really annoying at work, or if there's a situation that's very persistent, I think you might be just done and over and ready to move past it. If it's not at work, it could be in some other social situation with others. Not necessarily friends, more like public environments that you're in. Okay, so community groups, all of that. Then we have the 5 of Wands. I think you feel a certain degree of stress. It really feels like it was pervasive. So when I say pervasive, I mean like something got its claws into you and wouldn't let go. And then I have a very positive feeling about the readings today. And that's why I came on, even though there's not much time before the sun sets. The Ace of Cups, there is a period of confusion, and that's very Neptunian. Don't add to the confusion by adding too much change. I think that you will, by the end of the month, benefit from some type of change, but you should do that in a moderated amount. And I think that some situation that is probably lacking or weighing on you in some way, you should move past. Okay, so here is the next message, and we have Scorpio. Hey, Scorpio. So Scorpios overall are going through a sun, moon, and rising, very intense transits this year. Okay, so here we go. Very intense transits this year. So because the South Node is in Scorpio, I'm actually considering this one of my favorite transits for the year. Not the North Node in Taurus, which I like, but actually the South Node in Scorpio. I think it's so humbling. And actually in my chart, in my natal chart, this is now in the 12th house, whereas because my rising sign's up here. And so what I can tell you, Scorpio, is while it was in my first house, which it is for our general chart for Scorpio, I was really confronted with a lot of things about myself, about my personality and my experiences. There was critical things that I needed to rethink, but there was also things in which I wasn't letting myself have the full life that I want to live. And I had the opportunity to ask myself why and improve my quality of life. So I really attribute that to the South Node in Scorpio. Confronted with difficult feelings, uncomfortable truth. It's a real cleanse emotionally. It's a good cry. That's what it is. It's a good, intense, long cry. I did some crying. I wasn't crying. I wasn't actually crying so much, but it was emotionally intense and evocative. And so this transit is, whenever there's something going on alongside this transit at this time, it's significant, which will be till the end of the year because Saturn's squaring it. But this full moon is a trine from the sun and Mercury here, and a sextile to the moon. So that's significant for you. So for you, Scorpio, I would say that probably looking to the world at large and maybe making some fundamental change at home or close to near you. And so, yes, I feel as though there's a energy of redirection in terms of love that's coming up. That's the conjunction with Mars and Uranus and North Node. This year for you is a very love-driven year, so there's a lot of nuance about love and relationships, so we'll talk about that soon. And I feel as though that the full moon itself for you, it really was and continues to be about looking out into the world and finding like a new solution and then bringing it back home and making a stand. It almost feels like making some kind of stand or, some type of serious implication. So we have the 8 of Wands. Okay, so that's Mercury in Sagittarius. And then we have the Fool card. See, I told you guys, but this is the first time, so far I'm underwhelmed. So this is Uranus, right? Ruled by Uranus. Mercury in Sagittarius, communication, quick words. This could be a moment when your Scorpio transits make you very passionate or creative towards relationships. And then we have the Knave of Pentacles, Virgo, really endeavoring on something new, something fresh. Not everybody wants a relationship. I get that. But I think that this is like reaching out into the world, taking a chance, being a bit romantic. And when I say romantic, that could be directed at a specific person. But this could also be romantic with your heart. Like, I want to do this with my life, or I want to do that. And so you may actually endeavor on new projects or ideas. This is going to end if there is something out there in the world that you want to reach out to. As Venus enters into Cancer in the 9th house, there could be a real set of circumstances in which things begin to happen. There will be a sweet spot between the 17th when Venus enters Cancer and when the Sun enters Leo, so a few days, 4 days, in which Venus, Mercury, and the Sun will be in Cancer, and you may feel the most inspired about your romantic pursuits. So this could literally be romance with someone else or by yourself, but it can be something like travel or some kind of, it feels very poetic and dramatic and nice. Okay, so 8 of Cups. I love this card. It's so cute. Look at the little bunny. So adorable. Okay, so this is a Saturnian card. I think it's Saturn and Pisces. And then we have the Empress, which is Venus. Okay, so we talked about Venus just now. And Venus likes being in Cancer. And then we have the Moon, another kind of Venus card. I was just talking to someone about a Scorpio today, and I told them about your pounce and then retraction, so getting shy. And so there may be, and I told them that it comes from shyness or feeling like exposure or exposed about your feelings, like positive things. And so you wanting to retract. So I think that maybe the idea is, when you feel so inspired and all these things, I think ultimately what's going to happen is that you're going to get swept away in something very romantic in the next 3 weeks. And I'm not saying just love, because not everybody has to pursue love, but something that's very kind of like, yeah, romantic. I can't call it anything else, but not in the way of only romantic love, but inspirational. Maybe you'll paint something beautiful. Maybe you'll write a beautiful song. I think maybe what I'm getting with this is at the beginning of July, or in the mid-July that we're in now. So in the beginning of this transit, I think that maybe there's like a little bit of a preemptive pounce, and then you feel exposed. So you want to avoid that. You want to do it in a more measured way, or maybe keep things private until you know more. And in order to avoid feeling this kind of exposed energy down the line. And so I think ultimately by July 31st, you're going to be swept away and drawn in this wonderful direction towards budding opportunities and partnership. But I think that in order to avoid sabotaging that for yourself, to slow it down, be careful of how you leap at first, Don't worry, the wave is coming, okay? Okay, so you don't have to make it happen for yourself too soon. You want to do things already, but you definitely want to sort of wait for the right time to come. So I saw this video in which it said that the plant should touch your hand or touch your shoulder if they hear you. And I did it to my asparagus plant that's over there, and it totally did it. Let's see. Can you touch me? No. But there's no, I don't know if it needs wind, but I've been checking plants doing that, and it totally works. Okay, Pisces. I knew I was getting weird for a reason. Okay, hi Pisces. Welcome to the video. Let's talk about your full moon frequencies and moving forward into the weekend. It's an exciting set of transits, and I was excited to talk to you guys about them before, but it really felt like a cluster of things, and it was like what to focus on and how to explain it all and give it a good explanation. Mind you, if you're a member or not a member, just as a reminder, I've been doing these live sessions. So I've been popping online to do live sessions as a part of my membership. And so when I do the live, everybody can see it, but when I post it, only members see it. So if you're subscribed and you're getting notifications, you might catch that. So some of these things we have been talking about, and I definitely will be making regular astrology videos on YouTube now, but it just took some time. I had to catch up on a lot of work, and it took a lot of effort, but I'm almost there. So pretty exciting for me. But anyway, there's going to be live sessions that you can get previews of member content if you're around to see it. Okay, so Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Full Moon in Friends. I actually feel as though you may have gone through some kind of a friendship disturbance. You may have seen what a friend is about or not. You may have been shocked as to somebody's behavior. I think that you've been, especially those of you who have been giving someone a benefit of the doubt, there's a real energy here of second thoughts, or realizing that maybe you've been giving the wrong person the benefit of the doubt, or maybe it's not all helpful always. So you may have had a surprise about a person that you cared about. And I think so far as I've read all the different people, all the different signs, for me, Pluto stands out for you the strongest. So so far it hasn't been resonating as deeply as the other transits I've mentioned, but for you it feels as though you could have caught a snake in your midst. If you haven't done so, then I feel like don't worry about it. I think that message wouldn't be for you, or maybe there was a nuance to it that's not for a general reading. But there's a sextile with Neptune also. So I think that maybe you didn't even say anything to the person. So you may have kept your awareness to yourself. And this is very good overall. I think it gets you away from this. Some of the attachments that you have in the world, you kind of get away from bad attachments with others. I'm not saying attachments with others are bad, but there's certain ones that it's time to let go of, like certain people or certain situations. 5 of Swords. Yeah, you definitely felt like you lost the battle with someone in terms of disappointment, like you thought somebody was better than this. And then we have the 4 of Pentacles, Sun in Capricorn, holding on to something. I think that you're really proud of where you've gotten to financially too. And I think that at this time, maybe this has to do with scarcity mindset. So somebody was doing something like of a weird financial implication, and you sort of have a degree of pride for what you've earned. And so their behavior in some way is making you question their integrity. I think you're literally questioning a friend's integrity, right? 6 of Pentacles. And I do feel as though that there's a real coaxing of the truth. There's a real kind of covering things up, but not to be dismissive or disingenuous. I think that there's this pretend like everything's okay and go about normal. But I think that you've seen what you've seen. And I think it's actually emancipation, because now you're no longer seeing something for what it's not. But there is, like, you might still see this person. I could see you hang out with this person in a group of friends where you know something about someone that's about deception or something you don't like, and you're not confronting them. So you're still in performing that friendship, but maybe your heart's not. I think your position has changed. And I feel as though there's a lot of this has to do with financial self-respect. So this is coming up really strong. Financial self-respect, nurturing yourself, and not giving up on your efforts. And then we have the King of Wands, Sag, Leo, or Aries, secondary transits, very fiery person, also in fire signs. See, Jupiter is in your second house now. You're getting a taste of the good life. I love this transit. When Jupiter goes through the first and second house, it's like money and personal improvements. And you're getting both this year. Jupiter will dip back into Pisces, but then head into Aries again next year. So you're financially boon. So whoever it is you need to let go of, run, don't walk. This is a blessing, and it's good that you know what you know. Okay? So good for you. I feel like it's very protected energy, protective, like the right thing happened. Okay, Cancer. Hey, Cancer, how's it going? I feel like I have good news for you. So let's begin. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay, so let's see what's up for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. The full moon this is huge, right? So I said to Pisces that Pluto only showed up really strong, for me anyway, in their reading, after reading several others. Oh, we have Nine of Cups here. This could be a real, actually, coming together point between you and someone else, very passionate. This could be a time in which people finally understand each other. This is when walls crumble. This is when truth is served. This is a time of someone who's so that was like the light of it, but the shadowy aspect of this energy to me feels as though somebody could have the monster took off its mask. And what I mean by that is somebody who was covertly being a bully or aggressive or difficult for you in some kind of interaction overstepped their boundaries. They sort of lost the mask, right? Their composure. So maybe they had always been doing this in hiding, and now suddenly the mask came off. And I think that with all these other transits, and especially this not Mercury, the mystic rectangle, Mercury retrograde, yeah. MR, yeah. So, even, especially, I just think that, and it's actually an envelope, which is an even more complicated, kind of, aspect, but the Mercury retrograde, the mystic rectangle really had you thinking quick, and I just feel as though you protected your moon. You protected and you saw the moon in your mind or your energy, your spirit, your emotions. You saw it trapped, and you had like, it's almost like all your shooters, like you're standing, like a gangster movie, and all the shooters are like up in the buildings making sure that the moon's okay, so the moon can walk by the evil Pluto. And so this is happening internally in you. And I feel as though whatever's come about, I just think that so this is referring to yesterday's energy. If you were messing with a Cancer, or if you as a Cancer were messed with yesterday, whoever was doing it would really regret it. And I think that this probably is referring to a past situation, and this is where your strength probably came out. Because with Lilith, this is really powerful for Cancer. I actually feel with Lilith and Mercury and the Sun here, just having formed their transit, right? The conjunction and like the light being brought into the circumstance. You like truth. You like standing in truth, and you like the empowerment it gives you. And I feel as though maybe you had been shy in the past because of Lilith secrets and things like that, but now it's like, when they say like roar, like full energy of your roar was felt. And like I said, I think that you felt very supported, and I think rationally in your head you understood the situation, so you weren't second guessing yourself. You know how you want to tell things to someone, but then you're like, but I shouldn't because of this. Well, you've reconciled all of your buts and shouldn'ts and, questions about the situation. Eight of Pentacles, you were just doing your job. You were just doing your job and applying yourself. And then we have Virgo, we have the Hermit, your own path. You were just doing your job, and Virgo, and we have the Four of Wands. Asserting yourself to the best of your ability. I'm getting another download, so kind of let's switch a little bit of what I'm referring to. I'm going to try to shift. I know this is backwards for what we usually do. I just tried to move the cards with my cursor. I had the cursor like right over here, and I was like, you guys can't see it, but I tried to move the cards with my cursor. That was a cool moment. Okay, so let's look over here. There's more light, so I think this might be a better solution for now. Okay, so I have a feeling as though this is another download. somebody may have finally come to you a little bit alone. So maybe there was someone who you like or you have a crush on, and there's always people around. You zeroed in on some target, Cancer, and it's referring to the past, and it refers to like you're in your right in what you're doing. So this could be love or other things. Tower, you may have caused a tower moment. Saturn, it's like, and then we have Aquarius. I love this. Look at the little sheep. Okay, so the Aquarian energy, and that's pointing to your in 8th house, and then 7 of, I think you made some key steps in some very good directions. I feel like for you, this was a power play, and I feel in relationships with others or in terms of work, and whatever you have done, Cancer, or wherever you've asserted yourself, and this was a very visceral experience, which means that it happened like through you or immediately without you speculating or trying to make it happen in some way. It just happened. And you are towards money or towards just some like big goals. And I think it's going to emerge. And I think whatever happened was shocking. Power play, Cancer. And this could mean like a destructive power play that you initiate, or possibly you instigate something very beautiful. On the bottom is the sun with the sunflowers. That's for Ukraine. And so we have the sun on the bottom, transcendent energy. You showed your true colors in a best possible way. Like, I love this in your 1st house, this Lilith, Mercury, Sun transit. So just good for you, whatever you did. Okay, Aquarius is next. No jokes, like back to back. I think Aquarius is going to be one of the more intense energies here, surprisingly. But let's take a look at your astrology, Aquarius. Nice to see you guys. Let's get you guys set up over here. Okay. So Aquarius, hi guys, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So when we're looking at this full moon, it happened in your 12th house. Now this is actually very significant because Pluto's entering into Aquarius. So I don't know if next year Pluto will already be in Aquarius. I don't think so. I think you get one more full moon while Pluto is in Capricorn. And I don't remember if next year's full moon is going to be at the beginning of Capricorn or at the end. But we're in the transition, and so therefore this is one of the last full moons in Capricorn while Pluto is in Capricorn. This could be a big power play behind the scenes, something in your life that is just really worth noting or something very exciting. Opportunities coming in. Don't miss the boat. I think Aquarians are very much thriving. See, I'm just trying to fix the... I think Aquarians are very much thriving. Something that you've put a lot of time in on an everyday level is going to turn out for the better. I think you went through a bit of a dark night of the soul. So, for example, if you were working out a lot recently, you may have gone through a bit of a night of the dark soul, dark night of the soul, in which working out was hard. Maybe you plateaued, or maybe something else happened. But I think that whatever set of circumstances was so hard for you to work through, I think that you found your way through it. And I think that this energy with this full moon is like reframing your energy levels on a personal level. I think in a romantic sense, somebody could be giving you some nice energy at this time as well. So you might be getting chemistry or experiencing chemistry with someone. And I would say if I was Aquarius, I'm an Aquarius moon, so this is right for me, but definitely for the sun and rising. With financial things going on right now, this is not financial advice, and it's my personal opinion that we're in weird times financially. So that's my preamble. So don't listen to this and talk to people who know money as authority. But here's a creative suggestion. There could be some real opportunity here by the end of the month to do with housing, to do with a house situation. This could be to do with buying a house or maybe something else, moving or something different, but there's an out-of-the-box solution. You might find a house that's like built weird, and I mean built weird, like custom made in some way, or it might be in an area you don't normally go in. So there's definitely some kind of unexpected. So watch and wait. That's Neptune in the second house. Sorry, I'm so used to the chart being here. Neptune in the, you know what that's telling me? Financially, that you're waiting on something financially. You're waiting for something to pay out. And I think that the message is, if you've been waiting on something to pay out, it's really coming for you. Four of Wands, very good energy for around the house. Not everybody has to buy a home, so maybe you'll find a wonderful chair. But with this North Node, Uranus, and Mars for like decorating your apartment. But the North Node, Uranus, and Mars together, to me, suggests bigger than that. Something fundamentally big around the house is coming. And I think you're setting up, and I think it has something to do with money. That's the Neptune over here. So this is all interacting, and you're the architect behind the scenes. Whatever you've learned with Pluto in your 12th house, which is probably the most powerful transit for Pluto in some ways, because it's so rarely there for anyone. It's a real kind of break me down and rebuild me sort of energy. And now that you've probably been rebuilt in your life as Pluto enters into the first house, you probably you have a few tricks up your sleeve in a positive way. And so I think that you have an idea of what to do, some things to do that are very good. Look at this, Two of Cups. You're the first one to get this. Very nice. This could be like a love situation that's emerging. You might get confidence with Venus trine Saturn. You might experience a degree of confidence with that transit. And then we have the King of Wands, Sag, Leo, or Aries. And then we have the Ace of Cups, new relationships and love. Now, if it's not love, I feel like it's very inspirational. Like something about your near environment is going to go through some really drastic change in a positive way. Something really good is coming. There's going to be a very positive redirection of circumstances to do with you. And then we have Page of Wands. You might actually set off on a whole new adventure. And I think that you're inspired, and there's like positive energy behind it, and there's a lot of excitement. But this is just the beginning. You're the architect of some really wonderful beginning that has to do with a big closure in the past. And this full moon in some way gets you one step closer. Okay? Very, very nice. Very loving reading. So yes, Aquarius is big energy right now. Okay, so next we have Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Thank you guys so much for waiting, Aries. Let's take a look at your chart. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay, so your full moon happened in the 10th house of career. And so this is to do with 2019, 2020. This is a moment in which some events that really started going when your career started really working in your favor between 2019 and 2020, those work type situations may have really elevated your circumstances for you. Do not waste a minute. This is one of the last transits that is very favorable for career prospects. And until the end of the month, I think you should be I think you're setting yourself up for a domino effect, Aries, to do with real progress that can lead to very big financial gain or goals, and etc. Many of you come from difficult financial situations, and we have the Eight of Pentacles. Some of you had spent a lot of time in school or had spent a lot of time in honing a very special skill that maybe at first didn't pay off right away, but then you made it work. I feel as though there's a very strong collaborative environment with someone. This could be a sister or a brother, but they're a very smart person. And this person, very clever, gave you some really good advice. With this full moon, you're thinking a lot about the past, and this is good. What did you do good? What stuff didn't work out for you? Where do you want to go next? Tower, you're going to make a change. You're going to make a transformation. I think it has to do with Saturn. I think you're going to identify a friend or two who is just not contributing to what you need. I think this full moon for you, I like this full moon for you actually. It has a lot to do with you thinking about what's good for you and what this next stage is, especially with money and success and finances. And you might be looking at some of the people and circumstances in your environment, and you may be not making excuses for them anymore and sort of saying, this has to go because I want success. So I think that this is a good time to do this. Neptune, Hanged Man. And so I think that you might actually change your social environment a bit by removing a friend or two or adding someone. And I think that you don't have to rush, but you should do that now instead of later. So it's a recognition that someone's taking away from your energy. A friendship or a social situation is taking away from your energy. There's a lot ahead, and yeah, be excited about it, okay? Then we have Leo. Hi, Leo. Happy birthday, you guys. I always forget through the seasons to wish people happy birthday, so we're almost there, guys. So happy birthday. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so Leo season. Here we go. Meow, meow. Sixth house full moon. I think that this moon, and this is kind of a boring reading, and I'm sorry about that, but it's really helpful, I hope. I think this full moon, frankly, really shows you what you need to do more in order to be successful. Does it mean you need to work more? Do you need to come into work early? What is it about your life? What do you need to do different to find more success? It's adding delays in your life in some way, but I have a feeling that if you're honest with yourself and if you want what you want, I think this full moon is going to really show you that trajectory. Then we have this is the Knight of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra in the second set of transits. And then we have the Seven of Swords. I think that I think some of you are coming to terms with the fact that somebody wasn't good in your life, and this would be a love situation or a business connection. Justice, Libra, possibly. Empress. And then we have the Star. Listen, a lot of this has to do with accepting and realizing that someone or something was just not good in the past. I know you really want everyone to get along and be friendly and be nice, but some people are just not there yet. And I think this has to do with the overall energy that's really setting you up for great success and a great way forward. This is Aquarius, this is Libra, and this is Venus. And I think as though something reconciled in your life in a very positive way. And I think it's allowing you for a bright future. I think a part of this is just closure with regard to but like a relationship that needs to go and you need to get away from, and a very strong focus, which is the Capricorn energy, on where you want to go next. So this could be and it could be like somebody that you're dating who isn't very serious about you. And in particular, women, Leos out there, if you've been dating someone who's not showing too much like deep concern for you, this might be a time when you're seeing some very nice connection, maybe with an Aquarius. So You know, it's pretty exciting. And you're getting huge cards. These are all higher arcana cards, so you have big things ahead. Very, very nice things moving forward. But you're sort of like running away from seeing something. You saw something and you're running away from it. And that's, trust your judgment. So whatever you've seen, you know, trust your discernment. Okay, so we have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Hey, Capricorn. Sorry, you guys, if I'm going a bit faster with these. I want to make sure to read for everybody. And the sun is literally setting as we speak. And it's overcast, so I'm worried about... You guys can already see the screen. As I continue to do these videos publicly more and more again, we'll fix the timing. But today I just didn't want to make you guys wait for the full moon message anymore. Okay? So full moon in the first house. Okay, so that's huge. And somebody is being very nice to you, Capricorn. Especially if you're in a love relationship or a good business partnership. But it feels as though somebody's really giving you a boon or a boost. Somebody's throwing a lot of positive energy your way. I have a feeling that you might be giving someone a second chance at love. And I feel as though for many of you, this might have to do with a friendship to love situation. So if somebody has been trying to get you to pay attention to them, you might want to pay attention. Likewise, this may be moving on from past bad situations with friends towards having fun with them once again. And so you're giving someone a second shot. You're getting it another try. You know, you're trying to make it work and be positive again. So that's all very positive and exciting to see. I have a feeling that you feel very strong in your character. So you feel very strong in who you are and what's important to you at this time. You're very focused on what's important. This would be, I don't journal all the time. I probably should, and I have in the past. It's very helpful overall. But when I see this transit, I'm like, write yourself a little message tonight, Capricorn, or maybe even today, even though the moon's not there, but try to reflect on the full moon and just write a little letter to yourself or a big letter and tell yourself what's in your heart at this time. Writing down our thoughts is really helpful because we always forget them, right? So when we write to ourselves, it kind of captures a moment and we always feel like we'll remember tomorrow and all this stuff. But the reality of it is we filter emotions and ideas to the point that we forget them. So write it down now. You might have some very powerful messages for yourself that will resonate for a long time. Okay, so we have the Page of Swords, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. It almost feels as though someone brought you news or information about something. King of Wands, Sag, Leo, or Aries, secondary transits and fire. And then we have Four of Swords. So something's been put to rest and clarified. Information has come. This could be a boss has received some information and is helping. There's like peace in the environment. Then we have the Seven of Swords, which is Moon in Aquarius. This is coming up a lot because the Moon's in Aquarius tonight. So this cards tend to come up a lot with transits. And then we have Queen of Swords, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. And we have the Magician. I think that this is a very powerful transit to do with your personal initiation. Whatever is in your mind, Capricorn, initiate that. You may want to talk... So when I'm looking at this card, I feel as though you're gaining distance from an air sign female possibly, or an air sign male. You saw someone in a certain light and you finally saw the error of your ways, or you were giving someone too much credit. And so you're doing the smart thing and protecting yourself and stepping away. And I feel like the Magician, this is you, and also Mercury in Cancer, right? The big moment is going to be on, Saturday or Sunday? On Sunday. Oh, I was looking at it the wrong way. Okay, sorry, on my notes. On On Sunday, you're going to have, well, actually on Saturday, this weekend's going to be really good. I think that some things will play out from the full moon. So, and this magician means that I'm like, oh, I get it. So I don't have to tell you. I forget my words sometimes. Sorry, guys. So we have the magician next. That's a Veroosh moment. Okay, so we have the magician next, which means that something that had begun with that full moon on the 13th is you're gonna like put it in. So whatever ideas come up, whatever is like really salient at this time, you might want to put into play, put into practice. Okay, so that's really exciting, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. Okay, so next we have Virgos. Hey Virgos, welcome to my channel. Let's take a look at your astrology, and then we'll do tarot for you for the full moon. I really want to get everybody a message, so it might be a little bit short because the sun's setting within a few minutes, so we have a couple more to do after you. So okay, Virgos, full moon in the 5th house, a very powerful moment between you and someone else. I think that in terms of your relationships with others, I think a lot might be cleared up right now about where you stand. Virgos, I think that you might get out of the influence of bad people, and you have last weekend when the Sun and Mercury hovered over Lilith. This may be an actual influence or believing some nasty words that others say. Maybe you were giving someone too much credit in terms of friendship, and maybe you see it for not what it is. If you feel as though it's a little bit beat up of a moment, you're going to have some real breakthroughs in terms of friendship. On Sunday, when Sun and Mercury join in the 11th house, that's going to be great. Something wonderful come in for you. And then when Venus enters Cancer on the 17th, so back to back all weekend is going to be a good energy. And for you here, there's a real passion. Virgo, one of the energies of Virgo is denying yourself. I don't really want that, or that's too expensive. I think you're going to get a little bit of something that you want, and it's a little bit of a selfish energy. Sometimes I'm a Virgo, guys. Hi, if you're new or if you don't know, so I'm a Virgo. So when I'm qualifying that so you don't feel like I'm patronizing you. One of the things, and qualifying what I'm about to say, there's this energy of at certain times, it's a really good idea to go out on a limb and buy yourself something or do something a little bit more out there, and something that you may feel that you would that you would question yourself on later, right? And so you may be a little bit more bold than normal at this time. This means buy something, do something, try something in a new direction. And so this energy with this full moon is really strong with that. It's a trine to the North Node from the full moon. It's really nice energy. And so as a Virgo, I second guess those kinds of decisions. I don't need 2 pairs of shoes. I'll just buy one, and utilitarian sort of mindset. That's me. Not all Virgos are. Some are very materially driven. But in this case, don't deny yourself something. Have you ever had the experience in which you I'm fixing the lights, so sorry if I'm stuttering a little bit. But anyway, have you had the experience of denying yourself something? So for example, let's see if I can make it bright. No, that's terrible. So you really want something, but you deny yourself. I think that's a bit better. So you want something but you deny yourself, Virgo, this is the time in which that thing that you may deny yourself, you should actually go for. Okay? So this is an experience. This might be purchasing something. This is something that makes you happy. This is something that changes your direction in things. And a friendship might reconcile, or you may actually have just lost some friends, but they were never friends to begin with, if that's the case. And you actually have a couple real big boons coming up. So it's almost like better friends come in almost immediately, or there's compensation, not of financial nature, but necessarily, but of somebody stepping in, somebody being a true friend. You might find a friend in the whole situation. Someone might come through in a very good way. So Page of Wands, Sag, Leo, or Aries. And then we have 10 of Swords, so that might be that. Sun in Gemini. That's the first time it's come up for Virgos. And then we have 6 of Pentacles, Moon in Taurus. I like this energy. This might be a disagreement. So there's an event that may have come up in which, with Lilith there, that's what I'm referring to, especially last weekend, in which there was like Boris Johnson, you know, British politics has always been very dirty. Like, they're always like ousting the prime minister, and they're always like, I'm walking out on you. They did that to Theresa May. They've done it to countless others. This is not weird for British politics. It's weird for pretty much many other places, but not in Britain. So, but it is that kind of energy. It could be that like betrayal from friends, or, you know, and so 4 of Wands, and then we have the Fool, and then we have the 5 of Pentacles. Okay. I feel as though, I think you're going to turn your back on some people, and I think that, or you may have already done so, and I think that, and I think they're going to miss your generosity of spirit, because here's the 6 of Pentacles, here's the 5. I think you're going to turn your back on some BS. On the bottom, we have the Knave of Swords. And I think they're going to really feel your absence. You're going to be happy. You're going to be fulfilled. Good things are coming your way. But I think you're coming out of that influence of that negativity of others. The hostility, the pathological mindset. And this could be pathological mindset, I mean, is when people try to convince you of bad things they are thinking. And this is so prevalent, and we don't talk about it enough, and it's super important. When people believe crappy things and they frame it in like a psychological way, or like they try to sound smart, love and light type ideologies, and or maybe many others, and they're just saying stupid stuff. Okay. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's take a look. We're last minute, so 2 more signs. Gemini and I think Sagittarius, right? We haven't done yet. Okay, so Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Your full moon. This is to do with 2019, 2020. Power move, power closure. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't tell someone off. You may have found out that somebody was messing with your money. See, all those 2019, 2020 transits were to do with like a betrayal of someone you thought was on your team, and it kept on coming in many different ways. And with the Lilith there, you might have a situation that has come up, especially last week, and in which you started picking up on the fact that there was betrayal with your resources, whatever money, or, you know, somebody disrespecting your things. And I think that has come to light in some way for you, and I think you're vindicated from that. I wouldn't be surprised if yesterday you didn't tell someone off. I wouldn't be surprised if yesterday you didn't set the record straight, or you ended a situation in order to refocus on yourself, to turn your back on some crappy vibes. I think you're sort of, I like this transit for you in the 12th house. it's 12th house, this conjunction with North Node, Uranus, and Mars, and I'll talk about this in a different video. You're the evil genius with this transit. Like, I would not cross a Gemini right now, because the idea that you come to create, you know, your calculations, you know, that meme where that woman's sitting there and she's like really like tensely thinking and all the numbers fly up. Yeah, that's you right now. So in some way, like your mind is like, Gemini thrives in this type of like crazy creative thinking energy. You're behind the scenes, like fireworks are flying between your ears and your head. You're just, the electricity is like off the charts. So when I see your transit, I know it's a bit of a funny reading. I see the strength for you with this full moon and maybe telling someone off, but I think that you should do all the things that you're thinking right now. You should do, and just whatever weird, just go with it. Just go with it and see where the chips fall. And I think it's going to be unorthodox, but Gemini is the perfect sign for facilitating something different. Okay? So we have the Chariot card, which is Cancer energy in the first house. Yeah, so there's that vindication. Maybe in the past you let someone mess with your money because it was like shared or something, and now it's like, no way. You're taking your power back. And it's already been taken back, but there's probably another stage in it. Then we have Aquarian energy, moons in Aquarius. That's why we're seeing this card, but it's a beautiful card nonetheless. All for hope and dreams, 7 of Cups. You have a goal, you have a vision. Neptune's in the 10th house, so if this has to do with career, if you're having wild, so maybe I should backtrack a bit. If you're having wild ideas that have to do with your career, just for sanity reasons, be careful how much you say, because even though they may be great and they may play out, you might scare a lot of people. So just hold on to them, and maybe keep them to yourself, I would say. So in other words, you might just have such a crazy idea that it might not be appropriate for a work environment. Okay. Then we have 9 of Pentacles, very comfortable in financial. You like your money. You're sitting in money. Money is good, and money is coming with Venus entering Cancer on the 17th. Then we have the Hermit card, and then we have the Knave of Wands, a Sag, a Leo, or an Aries. Somebody invites you to something, a bit of a loner type character. Maybe Virgo, Aquarius, Cancer energies are strong. I think that somebody's going to invite you into some new direction. So there's 2 layers to this. There's you telling someone off. There's you coming up with some kind of really crazy fun idea, but it might be too much for work. And then there's also you chilling within your comfort zone and someone coming and giving you idea that will really open up a new adventure for you, or like something new to do that's kind of exciting. So opening up a door. That's very cool. And look for the timeline this weekend for it to kind of play out. So Sag, I'm proud that I remember this. Sag, I'm sorry it's a little dark. I'll try to make it a little bit lighter. The sun is setting in 10 minutes. I rushed to be able to do this for you. And as we continue, I'll get better at being available earlier. But just right now, because of what I said in the beginning, it was not possible. So here I am now. Sorry about the quality has just gone to garbage. Okay, this is the best we're going to get, but it is the last reading, so hold on tight. So Sagittarius, let's talk about your transits. So Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. For you in the 2nd house, full moon, money may have come in to you from family sources. Some of you might have come into money, or, there was some type of money that was given to you or that you were endowed with from shared things. If you have financial issues with others based on like estates or divorces, things like that, that money might be coming towards you now because of, especially if there was like a holdup with it because of some things, money might be coming in. So a lot of today's readings had a lot to do with money. It makes sense because it's Capricorn. But it almost feels like an unclogged energy. So something like a hair clog in your drain got pulled out and now the water's draining well. It's also a couple days till the 17th for really good negotiation or conversation with others. So really, it's a real good time to connect with someone else and talk about maybe your relationship. But it's also a good time for an interview before Sunday. It's a very good time for an interview and talking with someone. This transit, while Jupiter is in Aries, it's very favorable for love as well. Romance, put yourself out there. Just a few months you were kind of locking yourself in and staying away from people, but maybe there's some key individuals that are worth your time and attention. Let's see your cards. So we have the Five of Pentacles. This is a past situation in which there was struggle financially and somebody's coming to you with money. Knight of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, secondary transits in air, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. Then we have the Four of Pentacles, Sun, and Capricorn. You're bringing all that money and all those resources into your own corner. Look at you. You're bossing up. This is the Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, even more so. This feels like a strategic set of circumstances that has been something that you've been waiting on for a long time financially is really coming into fruition, and money's coming in, something you've been waiting for. It's not like deceptive or disingenuous. You've just been waiting for process. We have Uranus, which is the Fool. You've been waiting on something for a while, and now that it's here, it's gonna really open up new things. And look, you have Cancer, the Chariot. I love ending on this card. This is where the Sun is. It's one of the rulers of this full moon. And so I feel as though this is reconciling the past, reconciling the closure of past relationships, financial things in the past that have piled up. Two of Cups, you work things out. This could also be like, setting into a new relationship financially after a period of being worried about where it's going to go and how it's going to work out. So this is like putting your faith in a partner and a new partner, or finally being able to move in with someone, or finally having confidence in someone again. But I think whatever it is, this full moon was very good for you financially. And so congratulations if that's the case. Good luck to you based on that. Transits for so take your money and build your foundation into something else right now. That's what I would say overall. We're going to talk about that more, but wherever that so don't take your money and run. Take your money and have it work for you now. Okay. So pretty exciting, nice messages from Capricorn. I wish you guys all the best, and I will be back soon. And thank you for waiting, and sorry for a little bit of the dark reading.